Hey, you guys, welcome back to Ugh, You're So Good. Today, we have part 2 of our conversation with Michelle Kwan.
So good. How did you do it? How did you do it? You're so good.
Should we do like a cocktail moment?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, no pressure.
No pressure
But
at all.
we also...
Part of this podcast. Part of this podcast is we try to guess what drink our guest would be or would like. And so we're going to guess one
Do you
for
even
you.
drink?
And you do you even drink? Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have to
That was
drink
a
it.
nod.
It's literally like 5 beers.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of fake it because I have a show tomorrow, but I still want to sip because Mark makes the best drinks. Anyway.
Okay, so we brainstormed, Mark, Rozzi, and I, and
Yeah.
we thought that you were classy, elegant, put
Fun.
together, smart, but bright and
Yeah,
fun.
and like a good time, but like classy, like you said.
Exactly. And so we landed on Cosmo. How do you feel about that?
Cosmopolitan.
I would have a Cosmo.
Yeah.
So we failed. You know what I mean?
You're more the embodiment of them.
Wait, okay.
Okay, well, he's making the drinks.
While he's making the drinks, I wanted to ask you for some like skating scene intel. Like,
Okay.
what is it like? What's the community like? Like, singers all know each other. You know, in LA, there's kind of a community. Some are
Really?
more well known than
Yeah.
others, but singers know each other.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Definitely.
And I'm just wondering if, like, I guess you must because you are literally competing with each other. But
Yes.
What's the community
skating
like?
community is very small.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you
They-
somehow, with the Grand Prix circuit, you have international competitions. It's usually the same kind of top skaters.
Right.
And then the national level, yeah. So it's a small community. And if you ever want to go ice skating, I have an ice rink. I have one in
Oh my gosh, I
Ontario
saw
that.
and one in our...
Okay,
There's one
here's-
right behind your house or something? Like-
Yeah, I say it's back in my backyard. It's my other house.
Oh, okay, that's what I read.
It's not so close. You know LA.
Yeah.
It's about 40
Here's what I
minutes.
have
would
to
love to.
say. I really, really want to. I can't do it. I'm like, I will. I'll go out there, but I am a hold the wall, like, push
That's the
myself
last lesson
along.
you're supposed to be teaching on this podcast.
I know. Look, I'm still gonna do it. I'll still get out there and
But
I
if you
will
kill
try.
yourself,
But
don't let
I
your
just,
managers know.
I need to
Right.
say this. This isn't me being like, oh, it's so cute. Like I'm bad at ice skating. Like no, like it's like not. It's beyond cute. It's just like kind of sad how bad. Remember the time we went
But if
roller
you're learning
skating?
from the best, I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
let's
you
do
might
it.
have a
I'm so
chance.
down. I'm
I
ridiculously
would
down.
love to do
Yeah.
that.
I have to
Seriously.
say though, renting skates, I think that's also the problem because the blades are not very sharp.
Oh,
If I lace up skates and I fall like multiple times on rental skates, then that means like,
Yeah.
can you imagine somebody
oh my
who's
God.
learning
Wait, that
and then
really makes me feel better.
Right?
Yeah, you
Okay,
might have been
there you go.
sabotaged.
Maybe I'm great at ice skating for all we know.
That's good to know. Don't get discouraged.
Okay,
Yeah.
but the community's supportive. Like people.
It's not dramatic. It's a little dramatic.
did you ask Adam this?
I actually didn't ask that
No,
on
we
this.
should have.
Yeah,
But-
it can be
I mean, anything is.
very lonely at times.
Interesting.
When I was training for the Olympics, I spent so much time alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think when you get to a skating competition, you're not there to socialize. You're
Right.
not there to
Yeah.
hang out in locker
in the
rooms. You're not
zone,
there to
yeah.
tell. Yeah, you're
Right.
just on and off the ice. And I don't know. Ooh, look at that.
Really
Thank
no pressure
you.
at all. It's just part
You're
of the
like, wait a
podcast.
minute, Scott. It's like, wait.
Yeah, I was just making sure that we were like pressuring you to do it.
Thank you.
We can cheers and then fake it. That's what I'm
Yeah,
No, this is so pretty.
Yeah, thank you,
Cheers.
Mark.
cheers.
Cheers. You do feel like this color, like you're a
It's
fun
so
pink.
pretty. And this glass, oh, this martini glass is.
It's good. Strong.
Strong.
It's yummy though.
I had that's delicious, and then I'm done. I have a show.
Yeah. You got to perform tomorrow.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. You were saying you're not there to socialize.
Yeah, and I think if people say it's like all fun and games, you're just like, I just show up and compete in pairs and
Yeah.
like go and do my thing,
Yeah.
and then I'm like having fun. It was never like that.
Right.
Like I was in the zone. Like I
Yeah.
got to the hotel and I had a rest. I had like created my own schedule. Like when you're on tour, you know, it's,
Oh, yeah, you have when you go to
create
bed.
your own time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You have to make sure that you still go to bed, and it's like a clockwork.
Tour is so
Right.
lonely sometimes.
It
don't-
is very lonely.
I mean, you're in a
right?
band. It's a little bit
Yeah, that
less lonely.
helps. Yeah.
I'll my experience with tour. I wonder if it's the same with skating. It's a very weird dichotomy because I'll go out on stage and I'll get this kind of like like unnatural amount of attention and
Rush.
love. Like people
Yeah.
like screaming at me, telling me they love me, complimenting me, singing along.
And you're like, wow, I'm on top of the world.
Want to
This
take
is
pictures with me, like just give me so much love, right? And then I go back to an
LA.
empty hotel room in like Wisconsin or something where I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like this weird thing where you're like, you had all this
So
love.
full, and then
Yeah,
you're
but
like,
it's not really substantial in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it, but it's like
Mark and I were just talking about this. We were like,
Really?
how does like Lady Gaga go perform on the Oscars
Oh my God.
and like win Oscars and then just like go home and like
it's
go
sad.
to sleep?
It's kind of sad. I mean, it's,
And she
I
even
mean,
says it in her documentary. She's
yeah,
like,
it can be
she's like,
lonely. I
yeah.
think so. I would assume it'd be similar.
same.
Did you have any ice skating best friends though? Or you were like focused?
I mean, I had a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we just had our tour Champions on Ice tour reunion.
Oh, cool.
And it was really nice. We had like Dorothy Hamill, Peggy Fleming,
my
all
God.
the icons and legends.
Cool.
Nancy Kerrigan, who I toured with, Surya Bonali, Irina Slutskaya, like all these,
Wow.
Brian Boitano. So yeah, I had a lot of good friends. But,
Yeah.
you know, when you're competing, it's not like
Right.
I
there's
was
so much
hanging
of-
out
yeah.
with folks, you know, it was always, I went, did my job, left, and then
Right.
got
Yeah.
rest. And it was, like you said, it's very lonely when you're on the spotlight, and then suddenly you know, just a few minutes later, you walk into the locker room, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're at Madison Square Garden, you're..."
Right.
And we would always follow the Ringling Brothers, so
Oh my
it always
God.
smelled like like.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And I'm serious. And I would be running around, so I would warm up. So by warming
Yeah.
up, I would use jump rope, and I would run
Yeah.
around the arena, and like running around
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, where it's like we just followed a circus, and I'm allergic to like horses,
No.
and like I'm like.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, you go from like a high of being in front of an audience and like
Yeah.
all this love to like going back to your hotel room or going to the locker room and lacing,
kinda
unlacing
lonely.
your skates.
I
And
think
then,
that's something people don't always really know about working to be great at something. Like it's another aspect of it that people don't really talk about as much. You know, like there is like a lonely aspect
Yeah.
to working hard. Like I always noticed in high school, it was like, oh, Rozzi can't hang out like by choice because
Yeah.
I was like, I want to sing. It's
Yeah,
Sunday.
that still
like,
happens, by the way.
Yeah, it's true. I'm working. Sorry,
but it's those 10,000 hours. It's not
Yeah.
like Malcolm Gladwell wrote 10,000 hours with your friends and hanging out.
Exactly.
It's like you're grinding. You're like,
and I know I remember I remember I had this ex-boyfriend who had so many more friends than me all the time, and I was like, why do you have so many? Like, what is this? Why do you always have friends? Like, you always have plans.
They're just like
And-
over all the time. It's
yeah.
that's,
And he said to me once, he's like, well, because I invested in making friends in a way that you were singing, you know? And I'm like, oh, that's
Interesting.
true. It's like, I think that's something, and I'm fine with that. That was my choice. But I think it's
Yeah.
something people don't always think about. Like when you're really working to be amazing
Yeah.
at something, sometimes that's kind of lonely.
that's interesting that the selection of that word, invested.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like it's the same as when I look at people saying the sacrifices you've made. And I was like, no, I didn't really make sacrifices because I made a choice.
Choice, exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To stay up, be tired, and then,
Yeah.
like you were just saying, I've got to do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like you make that decision because
Right.
if you're not at your peak for performance tomorrow, then I'm not going to be at my best. I'm not going
Right.
to get to where I want to be.
Exactly.
yeah, and it's
Sorry, she's-
rewarding working hard and staying.
You're done. You're boring her.
Yeah, she's like,
Mom, I've heard this all before.
yeah. Work hard, yada, yada.
Oh wow.
And then did your coaches have to, like, what's the relationship like with coaches? Is it,
Oh yeah, Adam was saying like his coaches were so intense. and,
Yeah.
like, terrifying.
Well, my coach was his,
Oh wow, y'all the same coach?
well, Raphael Artunian was his coach at the Olympic Games.
Oh my God.
And I could say that
sounds like an ice
Raphael is pretty intense.
Pretty intense.
Yeah.
Like he would be chasing you around the ice. And he's also the type of coach that wouldn't, like he draws it out of you. Like if you don't want to be there, he's like, get off the ice. You know?
Wow. Yeah.
And I think good coaches are the ones that can draw your strength and your, with the days when you're tired, trying to be able to be like, you know what, I know you're tired, but get out here and maybe try, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
sometimes it's like those moments, if you can get to the gym, you already, that
Yeah.
you put in 5 minutes, warm up, you're there, and
Uh-huh.
you're committed,
Yeah,
right?
you never regret going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think I've ever been on a treadmill and like been on at least for 5-10 minutes and just left.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like if you're in the gym or if you're in the yoga studio, if you're in the ice rink, 10 minutes, and then you're like, okay, I got
that
it.
wind,
Yeah, you
yeah.
get that wind.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I'm like, just put one foot in front of the other. That's sometimes all it.
Totally, like just one step at a time.
Yeah, just get out of
there.
bed. Like, don't hit the snooze button. Just get out of bed, and then it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it all falls into place sometimes.
Wow.
Should we do our 3 questions?
That's our 3 questions.
We're
yeah.
there.
my
we,
God.
we end with these same 3 questions.
And it's so funny because each episode they're always so different.
Yeah.
The answers.
I'm so
which is cool.
curious. The first is, what does success mean to you?
Success would mean happiness.
Yeah.
I think that's sometimes you just find yourself gravitating towards, this is what I see as success. And you wake up and you're like, no, having this material thing or that, it didn't create happiness. And sometimes it's seeking those things that just make you happy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's very
fulfilled.
simple.
It's very simple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being calm.
Yeah.
That's when I feel like I'm the happiest. Is when
Yeah.
I'm just calm.
Really?
Yeah. When you're just like, wow, I don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you guys, when you, before performance, are you a talker? Are you
No.
okay.
Oh my God. I'm like a much shittier version of myself before a show. I'm like weird. I'm like a recluse. I'm like, everyone's like, what's wrong with her? Like, I'm ignoring people. I'm
Yeah.
weird before a show.
I'm like
Yeah.
that when I'm getting ready. So like an hour before the show, I'm like that a
Yeah.
little bit. But then once we're like out getting our mics and ears, then I'm silly again at myself.
Right.
But it's
Right.
like when I'm in my dressing room, like warming up and preparing, that's when I'm like,
I'm
don't
just-
come in.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I'm that way. I'm not the person that wears, like has music in my head.
Yeah.
I'm very quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm almost sleeping, but I'm like meditating
Meditating.
and I'm actually visualizing programs and like
Oh,
walking
wow.
through jumps in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do that too.
I
for
do that.
sure.
I'm like thinking what I'm going to
Visualization
say
is
between
key.
songs.
When
usually.
Pentatonics is nervous for a performance, we'll just sing it over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Just
Oh my
like
God.
before we go on, just to like keep reminding ourselves that we know it. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah.
So when I was injured in 1998, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
28 years ago, I was getting ready for the national championships, which is to qualify for the Olympic championships.
Yeah.
Did I just say Olympic champion? Let me redo that. When I was getting ready for the 98 Olympics, I remember before the national championships, I was in a cast. And so I was devastated because I couldn't train. For 2 weeks, I couldn't train. And then I only had 2 weeks before I actually was flying to
Wow.
Philadelphia to qualify. And I just would do visualization. So I would sit down and I would run through my programs from the beginning to the very end.
Yeah.
And my program was like 4 minutes and 9 seconds. And I would close my eyes 4 minutes, like on time. You
Wow,
know,
yeah.
because you're.
It's so
Wow.
in you. Yeah.
It's so, it's
Yeah.
like singing a song. Even if you're not singing it, you know how
Yeah.
long it takes,
and
right?
you did that. Did you do that to calm your anxiety, or you just did it to practice? Or?
To practice.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I couldn't skate for
Right.
2 weeks. And
Right.
this was
Oh,
like
yeah.
2 weeks before the national championships.
And
Like,
do you think it helped?
it helped
Yeah.
tremendously
Wow.
because it
I think
didn't.
I do that too.
Visualization in like all aspects
all-
of life
yeah,
is
right?
so
totally,
powerful.
yeah.
If you see it, it like
Yeah.
almost.
It almost sometimes I'm like spooked by my ability to like manifest. I'll like think of something so specific and then like 2 years later like the exact thing is happening and I'm like, am I a
Yeah.
witch?
I remember we used to bond on that. We used to like talk about how
Yeah.
we daydream. I would always
Yes.
like prepare a Grammy speech
Oh,
like
yeah.
when I was like 14. I was like, what am I gonna say?
What am I gonna say?
Just like the most delusional optimism.
No,
but
it's important.
it's
I think.
important. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
people ask, like, "Are you surprised at how far you've gotten in figure skating?" and I remember that question being like so bizarre because I was like, "No, I
Yeah.
actually visualized it every single day."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
being surprised wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
I worked so hard and everything was trying to be calculated in terms of what I can
Right.
actually leave to,
What
luck
was
and
the
then-
hardest part?
I was about to say, did he ever want to quit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you just like knew what you wanted and did it.
Oh no! I wish it was that simple.
Right.
I mean,
Nothing is. Yeah.
the hardest year was probably the year after I won the World Championships. You're at the height of everything. You in figure skating, it was like winning the Grammys. It was like winning the World Championships, and then suddenly going, what is happiness? Am I happy now? What?
Yeah.
I felt like something was missing.
Yeah.
And when people say, "Oh, well, you don't want to tarnish your medal, or you don't want to," it's not yours
Right.
to begin with. You're always
Yeah.
starting at the starting line like everyone else. So you've got to run and get it.
Yeah.
And I think that year was I learned so much about myself,
Yeah.
what I expected out of the sport, what I loved about it, and what kept me going.
Yeah.
Finding things that inspired me. And it often wasn't the moments of seeing like a skating icon on the ice or someone doing a quadruple jump. It was actually a little girl getting on the ice and
Yeah.
seeing that enthusiasm and like that, like, oh my God, I'm gonna
Yes.
get on the ice, and it's like that, whee, and you're like, oh my God, that was me. That was that 5-year-old rushing to the ice, like finding that happiness and why you're in it.
Can I ask you a potentially really dumb
beautiful.
question? Do you love to skate?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I think a lot of athletes, when they retire, they're like, oh, so burnt out. So like
Yeah.
it drained you. The last thing they ever want to do is either go into the pool or hold a tennis racket or go into the rink. For me, it's like, I think it's been so long too. It's finding that love and like
Yeah.
finding music that you love to move
Yeah.
to.
That's
and you're just like,
important, yeah.
it moves itself.
Yeah.
Like it's, but the sad thing about it is when you get to my age, you're like, I can't do the jumps. I can't do
Right.
this. Like, I literally cannot do the triple jumps anymore. Like, I'm like, no, my hip hurts, this hurts, my neck hurts. And then you like see things that you're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's time to get off the ice. That was fun. That was nice.
At least you got to do a lot of them in your life.
yeah, exactly. More than 10,000 hours.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, second question.
Yeah. What would you tell yourself at your lowest?
Wow. It's actually something I said to myself when I was having a nightmare. My dad said, "Is everything okay?" The next morning, I was at a competition, and I guess I was having nightmares, and I kept on repeating, "It's okay. It's okay."
Yeah.
And I think if I had to say anything at my lowest, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the moments when you think in your head, like, oh, I
It's a
didn't do well in
storm.
this competition. Like your whole life is over. And then time heals itself and you're like, oh, that wasn't so,
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a simple.
Like, life goes on.
Yeah. Like,
I'll be going through the same situation, but be in a different mental
Totally.
headspace.
Yeah.
And that's been something I've been realizing. Like,
Totally.
I'll be going through the exact same thing, but I'll be so calm that I'm like, wait, I need to remember that.
Yeah.
Since I feel okay now, it's proof that when
Yeah.
I'm freaking
Okay.
out about it, that it's obviously just something in my head.
Right.
or just let it be. Kind of let go.
Totally. I remember, like, probably 2 years ago, I was driving with Taddy. She makes her my friend that I talk about in every episode. We were driving and we were listening to Let It Be, right? And, like, obviously, like, I know that song's amazing. Like, it's the most famous song on earth, maybe. But we were, like, totally sober, just like, oh, my God, let it be. We were like, oh my
No,
God.
honestly,
like,
that sounds funny, but I'm kind of shook by that right now too. That's
Right?
like, it is like,
like, there will be an answer. Let it be.
You're like, that's what's happening.
But like, I think that's what that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, it sounds simple, but when you really, really think about it, it's actually
Yeah.
really poignant and like
my dad
profound.
always used to say to me, like, you'd be surprised at how much you can handle. Like, you'd be surprised at what people can live through, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate their own strength all the time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And I also think, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Let it be, babe. Just
Let it be.
Okay,
Okay, last
last question. This is where we get kind of embarrassed because this is just, we're like being so serious and profound and learning all these things, but we also love gossip.
We love.
So the last question is there any gossip,
Ice
any
skating tea.
any ice skating story from the past, anything? We can mute stuff. You can also say, no, you guys are losers. I have no gossip.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
This always happens.
It always happens.
Everyone's always
I
like,
think-
Everyone's always like, what are you guys talking about?
I have to say, though, that tabloids, it's like the drama,
Yeah.
and some of it's true, some of it's like, I don't know how they get all this gossip.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's fabricated. For
Yeah.
So
sure.
I could fabricate something right now. You would never know.
Did you have any
So that's
mortal enemies in the ice skating world?
No, but I've gotten tensions between like certain
Yeah.
skaters, and to me, I always went like,
Yeah.
you know, that emoji,
Yeah.
shrug shoulders, like, whatever.
Right. You're like,
because
check the scoreboard.
well, to me, that's the thing, right?
yeah, exactly.
Let it speak for itself.
Yeah.
Because I was never a big talker. Like, I just always want to say, like, hope for the best. Like, I wish everyone well. Because that's your 4 minutes on the ice. That's
Right.
the time when you can craft your magic. And you have your moment, I have my moment. So, like, just
All the rest is distractions.
all the rest is distractions. And I would actually, like, kind of laugh. Like,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I
Like,
love that.
I've always thought like when people like cause a fuss about something, I'm like, how embarrassing for you that you even care about this.
yeah.
That's what Mark always says.
I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing that you care so much.
Yeah, I
like-
just read a tweet recently that said, "No one more successful than you is talking shit about you."
Exactly. That's like once this girl in high school told me I looked prettier in pictures than in real life.
You're like,
Oh man, those compliments and like meet and greets
so
drive me crazy.
strange.
Oh my God. Did people say that to you in meet and
Yeah,
greets?
people say all sorts of stuff. They'll also be like, "Oh my God, my whole family like thinks that you're so ugly, but I think you're beautiful,"
Oh,
or something like that. You know, those like comments where you're like,
Bizarre.
I know you're trying to be nice, but I'm
Like,
hurt.
how do
but that was hurtful. It's so different. I mean, the generation that I was competing, I didn't have to worry about what people were talking about on Twitter or
Right.
Instagram.
I
Or
know.
like,
Do you wish that social media didn't exist?
Whoa.
you know, when we were talking about that moment you're on, on stage and then you come home and it's like lonely. It's a good thing because it fills a lot of
Totally.
void for people, but you
Yeah.
also go into this rabbit hole.
Totally.
I've sometimes
Oh my
like
gosh.
sucked down into this rabbit hole. I'm like, why am I looking at this picture?
Right.
I have no idea how I got.
Also-
You're
It's
like,
bad when you're not
45
processing
minutes.
it. I'll be like, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Right.
I'm like just
Yeah.
looking at a screen.
Also, I'm sure you guys can, like, it's probably, I mean, I can't even imagine for your guys' Instagrams, but like for me, I go on and it's just like a compliment machine. And I'm like, this isn't healthy. I go on and it's just like people saying really nice things about me, like over and over and
It's not
over
always
again.
like that though. Some
Yeah.
days, yeah.
I guess you guys probably have enough that people say mean things. I don't have enough followers and
Honestly,
say
Twitter's
mean
not
things
that
to
mean.
me.
It's more YouTube that's mean.
Oh, YouTube is so mean. I don't even
Really?
read those. Yeah, YouTube is so
IG
mean.
is really nice.
Yeah,
I like
Instagram's
IG.
so- Instagram is so
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it can be.
It
People
can be.
mean to you on there?
Actually, Instagram's not that bad for me, but like sometimes, like Mitch has
Really?
a problem with mean Instagram comments.
Really?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because he posts like really bold things. And
Right.
sometimes he-
Yeah.
Oh my God. Your little
You must
puppy.
get some like political ones, I
Oh
would
yeah.
assume. Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
It's not even worth for me to.
Yeah.
I'm
I know.
like, don't engage.
Yeah.
Don't even read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay. Well, that was so much fun.
That was amazing.
You're
Thank
so
you for doing this.
inspiring. Thank you so much.
for having
Literally
me.
watching you, I just like, you're so good and like so exciting to watch that it's just so cool to get to talk to you on here.
it really
and
is.
you dancing to my song was one of the highlights of my life. So cool. Okay, guys.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, girl. And we'll
See you next
guys
time.
later.